He knew he was going to drown. As the two strange creatures dragged him toward the bottom of the loch, one thing became certain. Brigadier Alistair Lethbridge Stewart was going to die in the cool, murky waters of Loch Ness. The Brigadier realized this certainty as he plunged beneath the surface. Yet another setback in what had already started out to be a hellish week. Only 2 days ago, he'd been dropped off in Scotland after another surreal unit mission to find that Fiona, his incredibly patient wife, had up and left. Even Fiona's patience had its bounds. She had made her feelings clear before that last mission. He could either be Alistair, loving husband who spent time with the family, or he could be Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, career military man, who only seemed interested in chasing space monsters with that complete nutter who called himself the Doctor. Alistair had tried to explain that his duty to Queen and country had to be his first priority. But that must not have been as convincing as he had previously thought. Taking a fishing trip should have been the perfect tonic. The boat was loaded up with all the fishing gear and his trusty service revolver. He cast his line and sat back to relax. After several blissful minutes, there was an incredibly sharp pull on the line. Alistair fought with all his strength to reel in his catch. At last, his luck was taking a turn for the better. This one was a real monster. Unfortunately, it was a real monster. The hook caught on the netted robes of the most bizarre creature the Brigadier had ever seen. It vaguely resembled a large turtle without a shell. Its eyes gleamed, giving it the sinister look of a devil. The sea devil snapped the fishing line and advanced toward the boat. The Brigadier had no time to draw his revolver, so he reached for the harpoon gun. He fired the harpoon, which caught in the creature's netted robes. Before he could reload, he was hauled out of the boat to see that the devil had been joined by another. The Brigadier freed one arm from the first creature's grasp, but felt a searing pain as the second devil grabbed his leg. He got a grip on the harpoon, which was still caught in the devil's net, and drove the point into the creature's chest. With a choking gurgle, the creature plunged back into the depths. The remaining devil released its grip and dove, or dived, after the wounded creature. The Brigadier rushed back to the surface, gasping and choking. He swam with all his strength towards the nearest shore. His leg was bashed up badly from his scrape with those sea creatures. He could still hobble on it with some discomfort. Most of the firearms he carried were either used up or lost from the earlier attack. The Brigadier scrambled up onto the embankment closest to him. With wretched luck, he saw his red car parked a short way from the shoreline. He stole a glance back at the sea devils, plunged back under the waves. There were a few of them, maybe a scout party. There would be more of them. His trembling fingers fumbled for the keys as he reached the car. Running the motor hard, the Brigadier went off in hope of finding a telephone. He needed to call Unit HQ and bring in some men to take out these foul creatures. After travelling about a mile down the road, he swerved to the right as he saw a payphone at a gas station. He proceeded to the payphone, only to find it was out of order. Typical, he muttered, typical. He continued back to his car to the nearest unit branch, which was the local air base of the Highlands. He arrived at the gate and called on the speakerphone to gain access. Hi there, unit branch here. May I help you? Came the reply, in what sounded to be the voice of a nervy American teenager. The Brigadier sat there, bewildered, and asked, what the devil? Who the hell is this? There was a pause, then came the reply, and this is Lieutenant Carey, who the hell are you? This is Brigadier Alistair Lethbridge Stewart, and you consider yourself on report if you don't open this gate immediately, shouted the Brigadier. Yes, sir, came somewhat more petrified reply as the gate opened. The Brigadier stormed into the Lieutenant's office, briefly telling him of the situation. I'll need something more, with more firepower than bullets to defeat these sea creatures once and for all. Their netted robes might hold some clues. What do we have in storage for weapons? The lieutenant was a bit hesitant to say, but went down to stockrooms to check out the latest weapon they had in stock, and brought it to the Brigadier's attention that it was a Chanter Modulator 15 rifle. It might stop them, or it could just cook them. Is this what you're looking for, sir? Might be, but I don't have much time for choices for that matter. It'll have to do at least to stave off a large attack. If they come inland, and I'll need more ammo if it doesn't work. And men, as many as you can spare. Oh, we only have a small skeleton crew. Sorry, sir, sorry, you're on your own. Brigadier muttered to himself, great. Of course, the doctor's off in that TARDIS again. I really should find some way to get hold of him in case of an emergency. Or like I do, right now. The drive back seemed instantaneous, since he was preoccupied forming a strategy. Given his training and experience in battle tactics, he was diving in completely blind with no idea what he was going to do. He arrived at the lock. It was early evening. The sun would be setting soon. There was little evidence of his earlier struggle with the sea devils. He knew they were there, just beneath the surface, waiting. He got into his diving equipment, took the CM-15 and began his way back into the murky waters. Just then, a huge assault submergible surfaced in front of him, with several sea devils emerging from it with their handguns aimed at him. Sorry about that, sorry. One of them happened to be the one that attacked him earlier. With blind fury, it came at him and tried to blast him with his gun, but the Brigadier vaulted away from it to avoid the blast. By doing so, the others rushed in the mob towards the Brigadier. The Brigadier, lying on his side, found the CM-15, pulled back on the trigger, and fired out several rounds of hot plasma bullets at the creatures. In a panicked rage, the sea devils tried to retaliate. After a while of heated gunfire, the Brigadier surprised them with more onslaught. Confused and worn out, he took it to his advantage and rounded them up for capture, or for execution. He wasn't quite sure. Just as he was about to decide this, the doctor arrived in Bessie. Running towards his friend with an appalled look on his face, he asked Alistair for an explanation to all of this. The Brigadier turned to him with a stern look and told him that they would become prisoners of the state. But if he had his way, he said to the doctor, I would line them up against the wall and shoot them.